Hello and welcome to Engage Chesterfield. I'm here today with Ginger Dotter from Chesterfield Mental Health Support Services to discuss some ways in which you can help your child navigate the strong feelings he or she may be having during this time of huge change. Thank you so much for joining us, Ginger.
Well, thank you for having me. I mean, those of us that work at Chesterfield Mental Health and those of us in prevention services, we want to make sure that we can share information with families and with children that may be helpful to them during this really time of uncertainty.
Well, certainly, because you're still working, but just differently, right?
Yes.
So do you have any strategies for parents of elementary age children that are students that might help them get through navigating this change?
Yes, there's one thing that I think we all know about this is that routine is really important. We always talk about with children anyway that having a routine really gives them a sense of security and knowing what to expect, but especially during times of change. So their routine might not look the same as it did a month ago, but it is good to establish a new routine to kind of match the new lifestyle that everyone is living.
So, I mean, it's change and it's also some strong feelings, right? So
Yes.
everybody is a little stressed out by this.
Yes.
And so that kind of adds a different layer to it.
Mm-hmm.
Any strategies specific to that you can think of for, like, if I'm a parent and my little one is, kind of having a hard time taking this all in?
Yeah, so aside from the routines, we first want to mention to parents, make sure you take care of yourself, because if we're not, utilizing our own self-care, it's going to be really hard to help our children with their strong feelings, and they're going to really play off of our feelings. They're going to really play off of our emotions. So I think it's a really good idea to, notice your own feelings that you have, but also sleeping, having a regular sleep schedule, going to bed, waking up at the same time each day is a huge part of this. Of course, it's a great time to be trying to eat healthy, which can be a struggle, I think, sometimes, and making sure we get some physical activity in there to get some of that anxious energy out. And so those are a few things that we say that, are good places to start with helping your children cope with the stress of the situation that we're in.
And certainly talking to them about it in an appropriate way.
Yes. So it's a really good idea to talk to them on their own level. So, of course, we're going to talk to a first grader in a different way than we will a fifth grader to give them, some information. But we also, in talking with them about the situation that's occurring and how life is a little bit different right now, we're going to make sure that we don't overexpose them to that information either. We don't want to talk about it, every day throughout each day, and we don't want them to really be sitting there watching the news for a long time either.
So if I need to get more information, or if I need more strategies, or if I think my child might be having a little bit more of a difficult time than what is kind of what I think would be a normal reaction, is there anything I can do? Who can I contact?
So, well, first of all, there are a lot of things that parents can do to help their children. And one thing is, this is a great time to really think about, let's pick your battles. So, children often express their emotions through their behaviors. So if they're really off task or acting out, a lot of times that's going to be because of the feelings they have underneath. So we want to talk with them about things, and we also want to listen to what they have to say. We want to make sure we use positive communication. And what I mean by that is, try to focus more on telling them what to do and less about what not to do. So we don't want to say, how many times do I have to tell you not to? Instead, we want to say, remember, the rule is, and then you tell them what it is you expect of them. So that's one thing that's really helpful in alleviating some stress, but also just to invite more cooperation with them. And we also want to make sure that parents know that kids these days are really learning a lot of coping techniques, a lot of them in the schools. And so maybe ask your child, what are some ways you know that a person can calm down? So you can ask them about it. You can ask them to demonstrate it. There's lots of resources out there online about different ways for children to cope with stress, different ways to calm down. So whether it's a breathing activity or whether it's a physical activity, those both can be very helpful. And I think it is a good idea to utilize a variety of types of strategies along the way.
Wonderful. And then more information, where do I go?
So you could call Prevention Services, and we would be glad to help you with more information, or with even with a free parent consultation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ginger, for continuing to work and support by serving our families. And thank you for joining us today on Engage Chesterfield.